We all know it, and I've been reminding you every chance I get. Car sales are dying while buyers are flocking towards crossovers and SUVs. The past 24 months have been brutal for us sedan, hatchback, and wagon fans, as a record number of passenger cars have been killed off, leaving less choice for us who prefer the ride and comfort of a car over a crossover. Here are all the cars that have been killed for the 2019 and 2020 model years here in Canada and the United States. The most recent victim is the Lincoln Continental, which we discussed in great length last year. Created in 1939 as a project by Edsel Ford, the Continental ran for 10 generations, making the switch to a front-wheel drive platform back in 1988. With less than 10,000 sales for the last model year, it's disappointing yet unsurprising that Ford is ending the nameplate once again. Another recent loss to the car world was the Toyota Yaris. A younger name here in North America, the Yaris will become extinct for US customers this year, but is expected to continue for 2021 for the Quebec market. Now, we do love our cheap and tiny cars here. It's why vehicles like the Mirage and Micra sell well, despite being dead everywhere else on the continent. This comes after last year's announcement to end production for the Prius C, the smallest vehicle in the Prius family. Toyota records the Prius, Prius Prime, Prius C, and Prius V sales under one nameplate, but the entire lineup has seen a sales decline year over year since its 236,655 unit US peak in 2012, selling just 69,718 in 2019. A surprise to some might be the death of the Acura RLX. You might even think it's already been dead for years, if not a decade. The midsize executive sedan is ending production for 2020, and it will be the final year for it. The RLX was the worst performing vehicle on our list for 2019, and was one of the worst selling vehicles in the US for 2019 that wasn't a new for 2020 model or a vehicle that had been killed off a year or two before. Sticking with the luxury Japanese vehicles, Lexus is killing off the GS midsize rear-wheel drive sedan, a vehicle that we featured a few years ago and truly loved. This was a solid competitor in performance to the BMW 5 Series, but severely declining sales over the past several years have led to its unfortunate demise. 2020 will be the final year for it, with a special GS Blackline edition for those truly passionate GS customers. The Cadillac CT6 has been on death notice for the North American market for quite a few years now. In fact, the 2018 we drove was supposed to be the final year for it, but GM extended its life another 2 model years for our markets. Outselling the Continental by about 1,400 units in the US last year, the CT6 will really be axed for this market for the 2020 model being the final year. Jump on that CT6-V while you can. I was disappointed when I found out we weren't getting one on the press fleet out here. We're circling back to Lincoln with the MKZ, another car that you might have assumed died a while ago. While it shouldn't be a surprise since its cousin, the Ford Fusion, is also dead this year, the MKZ had the potential to return as a reborn Zephyr, something that we actually discuss on our next episode of Test Drive Spotlight. While it sold 17,726 units in the US for 2019, just shy of the Navigator, Ford has decided that the MKZ, along with the other sedans sold in the FOMO co-family, needed to die. As the Continental was the only other sedan in the Lincoln portfolio, it means Lincoln officially pivots to an SUV and crossover-only manufacturer starting in 2021. In September 2019, FCA announced that the Fiat 500 hatchback and convertible would be discontinued in the US and Canada, following abysmal sales numbers over the past few years. 2012 was the peak in the US for the 500, with 46,999 units sold. That number dropped by 93% last year, with only 3,267 units sold, finishing out about 100 units shy of the Lexus GS. As of this time, the Fiat 500X, 500L, and the Mazda Miata-derived 124 Spider will continue, though all 3 of those sold less than the regular 500. A company like Jaguar has always been known for performance vehicles, but with their recent push towards electrification, it ends up leaving some cars in the dust. Enter, or rather exit, the Jaguar XJ. With only 1,072 US sales in 2019, 97 in Canada, the full-size luxury flagship sedan ended production last year. A new electric version is in the works, but if you're in the market for a 5-liter supercharged long-wheelbase sedan, you're going to need to find one aging in a dealership lot. Now let's talk about the big kills from 2 of the big 3 American manufacturers, starting with Ford. Announced in 2018, Ford had decided that North American sedan sales were dead, and it has finished what it started 2 years ago by killing the remaining 2 sedans in their lineup, the Taurus and Fusion. Now you can still buy a 2020 Ford Fusion today. In fact, the hybrid and Energi models are popular options for those looking for fuel economy as a priority. We even have the Energi booked later this month. Ford's larger sedans will join the Fiesta, Focus, and C-Max in the Ford Motor Company graveyard. That brings us to General Motors, and a long list of vehicles that have been axed also. 3 of the vehicles that we've driven on test drive are gone already. The Chevrolet Impala, Chevrolet Cruze, and Chevrolet Volt all ended as 2019 models, but now we're hearing that the Malibu might be gone after 2022. Buick has also dropped the rest of their sedans to focus strictly on crossovers. The Regal, LaCrosse, and Cascada are all gone, leaving GM with the Bolt EV and Spark as the only remaining traditional family cars in their North American lineup, and the Sonic as a US-only sedan not available in Canada. Now, while it looks really grim for us car enthusiasts out there, hope for new, exciting sedans, hatchbacks, and wagons still exists. The 2021 Kia K5 looks like a real winner in the early press information we've received, bringing more features, a fresh design, and all-wheel drive. The updated Volkswagen Arteon could be significant if the pricing is adjusted and build quality is improved from the model that we drove last. The reality is that buyers seem to want crossovers, even with strong sales for vehicles like the Ford Fusion or Chevrolet Malibu, and longtime bestsellers like the Toyota Camry and Honda Accord. Manufacturers are seeing less incentive to invest time and money into car sales, while buyers put their money elsewhere. Lucky for us, the used car market is filled with incredible cars, and our hope here on Test Drive is to feature as many of those as we can. I hope you've enjoyed this short episode of Test Drive Garage as we look back at some of the vehicles killed in the North American market over the past little while. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Hit the thumbs up button if you like this video, share it online, and make sure you've subscribed if you haven't done so already. Until next time, thanks for watching and take care.